Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video, I'm taking a look at the Sidewinder running boards fitting 2019 and newer Ram 1500 crew cabs. Now, these steps are going to appeal to the Ram owner who's on the hunt for a strong and affordable side step. They have a cool style, a really high load capacity, and an affordable price tag, so they make a great addition to any truck, whether it's one that works hard, plays hard, or one that just needs to look cool. Now, we see a lot of side steps come through here, and they're easily one of the most popular modifications that owners make to their trucks, whether they're planning to make other modifications or not. And these steps are some of the cooler ones that I've seen personally, and I like them for a couple of reasons. First, they have a neat, unique style to them. They're described as a pentagonal shape, so they look a little bit different than a typical round or square type of step. It's not really appreciated at this angle, but gonna hit the camera if I turn it any other way. Uniqueness here is good because you don't want your truck to look like everyone else's, especially if everybody else is also putting side steps on their truck. Now, these also have the benefit of featuring a large side step. These measure about 5 inches in width, and they have a 4-inch drop from the main bars. So even if you've got some heavy duty footwear on, like steel-toed boots or big galoshes or something like that, you're gonna have room and you're gonna have grip, because they've got grips built right in here and places for water and debris to drain off underneath the step too. Now, these bars also have a weight capacity of 500 pounds each, so they're gonna be able to handle pretty much anything you can throw at them, and it makes it very easy with that large step and that high weight capacity to access the cabin or the roof of the truck, get anything up there and whatnot, do what you need to do without having to worry about it. Now, these are one-piece bars, so those steps that you see don't detach, they're welded on. So that makes them a very solid platform, but they also don't drop down terribly far. So if you do find yourself out on a trail or a rough road somewhere, these aren't gonna negate all of your ground clearance either, especially if you aren't lifted yet. Now, these do sit up pretty close to the rocker panels as well, so should you happen to catch them on something or get hit in a parking lot, these are gonna take the brunt of that hit rather than that being absorbed by your rocker panels, which a little extra protection is never a bad thing. Now, the bars are made using 2mm thick mild steel, and they are fully welded together like I mentioned a few moments ago. They're topped off with a textured black powder coat, which is gonna look good against any paint color of truck. And they also have a TACE coating over top of them for some extra protection and grip. So needless to say, these are gonna be very well protected from rust, corrosion, the elements, and basically anything that you or Mother Nature could possibly throw at them. So they're gonna stand up to the test of time and whatever you can think of to test them as well. Pricing is also a highlight here. These are gonna run you about $375, making them a relatively affordable option. Now, while they aren't the fancy big old electronic steps that drop down, you're gonna get a lot of added protection here, and you still get a bunch of access too with that large step. Now, personally, I like something that is clean and simple when it comes to side steps. So if you share that sentiment with me, I think these are gonna be a great choice for your build, and they're not gonna blow out your budget either. Installation is gonna get a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and these should only take you about 2 hours to install. And like I mentioned earlier, there's no assembly required here with these steps themselves. These are gonna be a totally bolt-on installation, and they come with all the hardware and bracketry that you need included in the box. All these are gonna do is just mount right on up to the step and bolt onto the frame of your truck. Not much more we can say about it here, so with that, let's head on out to the shop and we'll walk you through the process.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a 13mm wrench, 13mm ratcheting wrench, and a 13mm socket. What's up, guys? Today we're installing a set of side steps on our Ram, so let's get started. So our first step is to mount our 3 brackets. Now, all 3 of our brackets are 2 pieces. The front is a little bit different, but the center and the rear install the exact same way. So we'll get under the car, find our 3 sets of 3 studs, and get these installed. So starting at the rear, the first thing we need to install is this bracket. This is gonna slide over our lower studs. The little flap is gonna be going to the top. And then we'll get a couple flat washers on our studs and follow those up with our lock nuts. And then we'll grab a 13mm socket to tighten these down. And then we can grab our rear bracket. This is the one with the 2 flaps facing opposite ways. The lower one's gonna go on the stud of the bracket we just installed, and the top one is gonna go to our top stud. And then we'll get another flat washer and lock nut on each of these studs. take our 13 millimeter socket to tighten these down. And then we can do that same exact thing for our center bracket. Now moving on to the front, we have our plate that's going to go over all 3 studs. And then we'll slide a flat washer onto each of our studs. And then we'll follow that up with our lock nuts. And then we can tighten those down with our 13 millimeter socket. And then we can grab the second half of our bracket. We have these 2 teeth that are gonna line up with slots in our bracket. And then we're gonna take our bolt with a flat washer and slide that through. And then get another washer and a lock nut on the other side. And then we'll do that same thing for our top hole. And then we can grab a 13 millimeter socket and wrench to tighten these down. So now we're ready to mount our side steps. Now we have 6 riv nuts in our side steps. We are gonna have our combo bolts going through the 2 holes in each of our brackets, and then we'll tighten those down with a 13 millimeter socket. So now with our side step raised up to our brackets, we can install our 2 combo bolts. And then for our bottom one, we'll take a 13 millimeter socket to tighten that down. And now for the top one, we don't have enough room to get in there with a ratchet, so I'm going to use a 13 millimeter ratchet wrench. And then you can do that same thing for the other 2 brackets and repeat the whole process on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Sidewinder running boards for your 2019 and newer Ram 1500 crew cab. Thank you for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.